Namaste, welcome back, Mindful Serenity Yoga, and we're going to continue with answering questions from the jar. It's a very rainy day out there in my part of the world. I'm hoping you're enjoying a little bit of sunshine, but if not, I hope you're enjoying the rain, because it is what it is. I am going to read my question very quickly before I set my timer to make sure it's something I can read. What does memory got to do with karma? What does memory got to do with karma? I'm going to start my timer now. I'm going to take a nice deep breath. And I'm going to exhale. What does memory got to do with karma? Can I just say everything and then end the question here? Makes more sense. Karma is basically memory. We all have this misconstrued, not all of us, but many of us have this misconstrued idea about what karma is. We think it's the outer world or some force in the outer world, be it God or some life in general, that is punishing us for the things that we've done wrong or rewarding us for the things we've done right. And that's not what karma is. The word karma itself can be translated into action. That's all it means, action. And we all know that with every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? And that's the law of physics. It is also the law of life. There is consequence for our actions. Now, when we look at actions, we're not just talking about the physical things we do. We're talking about our bodily actions, yes, but we're also talking about our mental actions, the thoughts we think and the feelings we feel and the beliefs we hold on to. It also is about our energetic actions. What is our energy doing? The energy, the natural flow of Shakti, for example. Is it flowing freely or is it blocked, causing a turbulence on the inside of that block for whatever reason? So action then is karma. The actions we're speaking about are bodily actions, our deeds, and what we say. We're talking also about our mental and emotional mental actions, which are our emotional and cognitive actions, as well as our energetic actions. So whatever we say, whatever we do, whatever we think, whatever we feel, whatever we express energetically is going to have a consequence. Now, that consequence is not the universe paying us back or rewarding us. That consequence is simply a ripple effect to whatever we're putting out there into the universe. So it's not the outer world that's responsible for our karmic consequences. It is us. We are creating karma. We are responsible for karma. So the question was, what does memory have to do with karma? Well, to understand where karma comes from, we have to understand our psyches a little bit better. We all have within us, or are all operating, most of us until we are evolved and self-realized, we're operating with the guise that we are the psyches that we've created. We are an accumulation of all our past events, all the memories we've picked up through all the sensory input we've experienced from the time we were born. So much sensory input, so much stimuli. The visual stimuli, the auditory stimuli, the tactile stimuli, the olfactory stimuli, the taste stimuli. We're picking up so much every single day and have been for our entire lives, and absorbing that stimuli, trying to interpret it, analyze it, store it for what we think we will need to do in order to survive. So our memory is basically our psyche. We've collected memories based on the stimuli that we picked up. Now, not all the stimuli is going to be something we have to store inside. Michael Singer would say 99% of it is something that just comes in and goes out. But for that 1% of stimuli that we store that creates our memory, creates our karmic consciousness, is there because we preferred something over another, or we didn't like the way way it felt when the sensory stimuli came in, so we wanted to push it out. And when we push out, we never push out in a way. We just suppress and repress and push inward. So we're storing it, and that's what the mind is doing: the interpreting, the analyzing, and the storing, right? So it's interpreting it as something that's not unpleasant, analyzing it as something that could be potentially dangerous, and so it stores it for later use, so it remembers not to be contacted again. But we think we're pushing it away when we do that, but we're actually pushing it down and in, so it becomes a firmly entrenched memory, or what Michael Singer and other yogic teachers would say is a samskara within us, a blockage to the energy flow. So here we have this memory now within us, and it is affecting it's going to affect first of all, it's going to affect us physically, it's going to affect us emotionally and mentally, and it's going to affect us energetically. When we created and we formed what is known as the psyche, because it is a pattern of all these stored memories. Now, I've just given you the negative one. There could have been very well easily a positive stimuli that we've taken in. So say, for example, the smell of a rose comes in through your nose, and the olfactory senses pick it up and deal with it. The mind interprets it, analyzes it, and decides that it's very pleasant and something that you want reoccurring in the body and mind. So it stores that as well and clings to it. So it's always going to react to the idea of rose and to the smell of a rose and whatnot. And it's stored for that reason. So whether it's unpleasant or unpleasant, we are storing these memories of stimuli within us. Not all of it again. 90% is neutral, and we'll just go right through. But from anywhere from 1 to 10% is something unpleasant or pleasant, and something the body or mind, in its interpretation analysis, decided it liked or didn't like. So we're storing that. So when we're storing all this, we form the psyche, which is a pattern of all our tendencies, all its wants and dislikes, our preferences, and memory, right? That's memory. That's why karma is so much memory. We've decided what we wanted to experience and what we didn't want to experience in this life. Now, what happens, which causes the accumulation, so then we've kind of absorbed karma, but the world only has a small little bit about it. It's what we did inside, the analyzing, interpreting, and storing, that really creates the karma, not the rose, and not that awful thing that happened that we didn't want to have repeated. It is our analyzing, interpreting, and storing that is the karma, the memory itself of those experiences. How we react then is we form this psyche, this tendency of preferring and disliking or wanting to push away, aversion. And now we're going to react from that to life. So something else comes along that smells kind of like a rose, but not really like a rose. And so the mind is going to react to it. It might get upset because it tricked you. The person that handed you the flower kind of tricked you. You thought it was your favorite flower, the rose, but no, it ended up just being dandelion. And now you're upset. You're reacting. You're maybe speaking it out to the person, or thinking bad thoughts about the person, or thinking bad thoughts about life, about always giving you dandelions and never being able to get a rose, and no one loves you enough to give you roses. Or you may be doing something along that line. And your energy, which is blocked because of that initial memory you had about the rose, has somewhat stuffed it down into your energetic body. And so the Shakti can't flow, because unless it's a rose, your heart says it's not going to open. And so you have blocked energetic frequencies within you. And these blocked energetic frequencies are going to cause all kinds of turbulence on the other side of the blockage. And this is definitely going to affect your karma. How you respond to the world with these things going on is going to be, your karma. Because how you respond is what you're going to get back. Now, if I'm constantly thinking negative thoughts, I may be acting negatively towards other people, towards life, towards experiences. I may be more shut off and more held inside and afraid to go out. So life, it's going to seem that life is giving me a bunch of nasty negative circumstances because I'm negative. But it really isn't. It has a lot to do with our interpretation of what's happening around us. But then again, if you're shut off and you're not communicating and you're not reaching out to other people, then there is a good chance that you will be isolated. And therefore you'll say that's the, life doing something nasty for you, isolating you, when it's really you isolating yourself. So what I'm trying to say through all this is that we and we alone are responsible for our karmic consequences. It's all based on our mind and our memory, what we've stored inside, and how we see the world through that stored stuff, through those samskaras, through those negative views, through our likes and dislikes and our preferences. And that will definitely affect the type of lives we're living, our karma. So what does karma have to do with memory? Absolutely everything. Well, that's what I have to say about that. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful